A lot of fallen trees and power outages across East Texas tonight.
Yes, that's true. And it only took about 30 to 40 mile-an-hour winds for those to happen.
Yeah.
Loose.
Yeah, they're very loose. A lot of unsaturated ground for sure because of all the recent rainfall. And this line was fairly intense, all driven by today's afternoon temperatures and the heat that we had. Look at the highs today. Had 2 spots, Neil and Casey, get at or above 100 this afternoon. That was in Sulphur Springs and Linden. Hottest day of the year for Tyler and Longview, 95 and 96 degrees. 94 in Nacogdoches, 94 in Henderson. But then the storms came in and they certainly were very loud and rather intense. But now they're on the gradual weakening trend, which is a good sign. But still very heavy for our neighbors down to the south and to the southwest. Jacksonville, you can now rest assured that the storms are starting to let up for you there in just a moment. They're really across parts of the Palestine area. Just some light rain left over along Interstate 20, Highway 31 right now, west side of Smith County and central part of Van Zandt County. Athens, heavier rainfall for you. Even had some estimated wind gusts from a couple of storm spotters there, up to almost 60 miles an hour for a brief period during the 9 o'clock hour. But here we go now where the rain is ongoing back near Palestine. Some of this also back into parts of Freestone County, also moving through the Corsicana area. Had a gust in Palestine up to about 40 to 45 about 10 minutes ago. Jacksonville, Rusk, Alto, moderate to heavier rain. The more organized activity where we have more lightning is west of Highway 69 at the current time. Grapeland, you have some heavier rain. Crockett, it's about to pick up for you here shortly. Raining pretty good there in parts of the Kennard area right now. Again, this motion is going to continue to work its way down to the south and to the southwest. We try to see a little bit of development across parts of deep East Texas, just really not that successful. Can't rule out an additional shower trying to form, but it looks like this is the complex that's going to try to survive for at least the next 1 to 2 hours, and then this system will come to an end. We are monitoring what's going to take place in the tropics, reading a little bit more from the National Hurricane Center. They are stressing that this storm is very close to becoming a tropical depression and will probably do so overnight and going into the day tomorrow. So that's what we're going to be watching for. One of the key things that we're monitoring for the longer term as we get to the weekend is the track in which this system will take. And I think the models give us a good understanding of just how uncertain things are later on down the road. This is through about Friday. You can see a general consensus that it moves west and to the southwest and then starts to turn to the northeast. But watch what happens as we get toward the weekend. We have a batch that moves across far eastern Louisiana, a second batch that moves through western parts of Louisiana, and then some outliers that try to makes its way toward Texas. So as we get toward the weekend, still uncertain, but the consensus tells us that a lot of this will stay over into Louisiana. That's where the heavier rain will be. Us being on the west side, we could see a couple of showers, maybe a few thunderstorms this weekend, but it doesn't look to be a whole lot of rain, at least for right now. But stay tuned for updates because that forecast can still wobble just a bit. Can't rule out an isolated storm tomorrow. Temperatures are still hot, lower to mid 90s in spite of a northeast wind and a front. 92 on Friday. As we get more clouds this weekend, we'll see the temperatures come down into the 80s and we'll rise back up to the 90s next week. Here's your deep East Texas forecast. A few more afternoon storms the next few days. And of course, we'll be watching for the tropics where we could have a few more storms for you on Saturday.
All right, a busy next few days for you, that's for sure. All right, thank you, Marcus.